My roommate pilfered my photos, harassed my boyfriend with bogus texts. Then I caught her in my room in my lingerie and I froze. Okay, listen, because what I'm about to tell you, it's still hard to believe. I used to laugh it off, thinking my roommate's weird obsession with my boyfriend was just a joke. But then I walked into my bedroom and found her wearing my lace lingerie, my boyfriend backed against the wall in sheer terror. My heart didn't just stop. It plummeted straight into a nightmare I couldn't wake from. Ethan and I had been together for 7 blissful months. He'd drive an hour from his university every 2 weeks, staying for 4 or 5 days. When Emily, my new roommate, first moved in, everything was fine. She seemed cool with it. Ethan was a good guy, always helping with chores, cooking, cleaning, even fixing things around the apartment. He was the kind of boyfriend my ex could never be. But then things shifted. Emily had just gotten dumped by her own boyfriend. And suddenly, Ethan wasn't just my boyfriend anymore. It started subtly, almost innocently. One night, Ethan was cooking dinner for all of us, and Emily just hovered in the kitchen, watching him. "He's such a good dude," she'd say, almost to herself. "My man must be like that." Then came the comments. "Our boyfriend is so thoughtful," she'd purr when Ethan brought me coffee. Or if he helped with groceries, "Look at our guy helping out." I tried to laugh it off. "Emily, it's not funny," I'd say, trying to keep it light. She'd just shrug. "Oh, come on, sisters share everything, right?" I thought she meant sharing a fridge, not, affection. I kept telling myself it was just a joke, that she was being silly. But it wasn't. Then came the stalking. Not in the creepy alleyway kind of way, but the insidious, ever-present kind. Ethan and I used a location-sharing app for safety, just so we knew where each other was. But suddenly, if we were out, my phone would buzz with a text from Emily. "Where are you guys? Can I join?" And if we didn't reply immediately, she'd just show up. At the movies, at restaurants, even on a romantic walk in the park. She'd just appear, smiling, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Ethan and I started locking my bedroom door, because she'd just walk right in. If we ever forgot, she'd just chirp, "Hi, man," as if she hadn't barged into our private space. The real warning sign, the one I regret dismissing, happened after midterms. I was drunk, calling Ethan, when Emily snatched my phone. She was stronger than I expected. And then, she started talking to him, pretending to be me. She actually told him about sex, laughing, and ordered him to sweat deep while quiet. What? My stomach dropped. I tried to get my phone back, but she wouldn't let go. Ethan, bless his heart, started visiting less often after that. And when he did come, he mostly stayed hidden in my room. He was scared. We both were. Sometimes I'd hear Emily just standing outside my locked door, breathing. My skin crawled. The breaking point arrived last week. Ethan surprised me at class for our 7-month anniversary. My other roommate, Maya, texted me, "Your boyfriend's here, but something weird is happening." A cold dread washed over me. I flew home, heart hammering against my ribs, only to find Emily in my bed, wearing my crimson lace lingerie, and Ethan cowering against the wall, looking utterly terrified. "What the hell?" I shrieked. Emily slowly stood up, my tiny lingerie barely covering her. She smiled, a chilling, triumphant grin. "He saw how much I miss you," she said, her eyes glinting. "Get out, get out." She waved her hand dismissively at me. "Also, this is my apartment." Then she looked at Ethan, almost playfully. "Don't you agree, Ethan?" Ethan just shivered. "Leave me," he whispered, barely audible. He turned to me. "Sophie, I was waiting for you." The door wasn't locked. It was an invite. I was furious. Emily was on a lease, but I called the landlord that night. He said he couldn't evict her. Campus security called it a non-violent roommate dispute. It felt like everyone was against me. Ethan couldn't bring himself to visit after that. "She wore your underpants last time, Sophie," he confessed, his voice strained. "What's next?" It stung, a sharp, cold jab, but I couldn't blame him. Emily had poisoned everything. Then, yesterday, I found her using my laptop in my room again. She'd found pictures of Ethan and me. Intimate photos. Photos that were private, not for public consumption. Give me my laptop. I screamed. She just looked at me, completely unconcerned. These suit my hubby, she said almost casually. Made copies for myself. My blood ran cold. That's unlawful. I yelled. I'm calling the cops. She just smirked. What proof? My phone has these. Might have taken them anywhere. Maybe Ethan gave me those. Ours may be unique. My jaw dropped. Ethan would never. Who would people believe? An angry girlfriend or a calm, collected roommate with photos? But then I saw something else. An unsent email draft, addressed to Ethan from my account. Emily had typed it, pretending to be me, filled with criticisms of him, painting me as a demanding, unhappy girlfriend. I know your password, she chirped, watching my face contort in horror. You should change your birthday. It's too easy. That night, I updated every single one of my passwords. My bedroom door? Locked. From the inside. This morning, a note was slipped under my door. In Emily's neat handwriting. Locks won't keep me from our boy. Check your phone. My stomach dropped. I looked. A text sent at 2 a.m. to Ethan. From me. But it wasn't from me. It was about KNC. Some random name. Asking Ethan to discuss it at your unit tomorrow. I texted Ethan, frantically. No reply. I called. Voicemail. Emily was gone. I heard her car leave 2 hours ago. It takes an hour and a half to get to Ethan's university. She had a 2-hour head start. I shivered, nearly dropping my phone as I called Ethan again. Voicemail number 4. 20 minutes later, Emily's GPS that was at Ethan's campus. My hands slid on the screen as I called again, my chest tightening. I was jammed, like the walls were closing in. I paced from the kitchen to the living room, checking the GPS every few seconds. Her stayed on Ethan's dorm. What was she telling him? Did he get the duplicate photos? Did she send him the fake email, pretending it was from me? Suddenly, Maya emerged from her room in pajamas. Her eyes widened when she saw me pacing. I must have looked insane. I probably was. I spewed out everything in a rush of words. The fake text. Emily leaving. Ethan not answering. Maya's face paled. She sat shakily on the sofa. Sophie, she began, her voice barely a whisper. Emily's been talking about Ethan and looking through your stuff in class. My stomach dropped. Maya knew, and she hadn't told me. She thought Emily had been listening outside my locked door. Alone. She even saw Emily holding my things, peering into my wardrobe mirror last week. She'd considered speaking up, but didn't want drama. Drama. I said, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. This is hardly the worst drama. I made an instant decision. Exams tomorrow. Forget them. Ethan's an hour away. I was going. My gratitude for Maya's honesty, even late, made my eyes well up. I was nervous driving alone. My hands were shaking too much. Maya, you have to drive, I told her. She threw on some clothes and I grabbed my keys, phone, and wallet. Nothing else mattered. Within 15 minutes, we were on the highway. I called Ethan, checked Emily's app. Still at his dorm. Still no answer from him. I zoomed out on the GPS. We were still 100 kilometers from his university. The drive felt endless. As Maya drove, I kept pumping her for information. Dates, times, details. Emily breathing outside my door. The strange comments about sharing everything. The constant location checks. Maya had kept weekly notes. She felt awful for not telling me sooner. Don't worry, I said, looking out the window. I missed the signs too. Emily seemed so odd and lonely after her breakup. Maya's notes verified it. This wasn't just roommate craziness. This was something darker. Something worse. An hour into the journey, my phone buzzed. Ethan. I grabbed it so fast, I almost dropped it. The text chilled me to the bone. Your roommate just told my RA you sent her to check on my mental health. It's ludicrous. Where are you? I read it 3 times. Emily claimed I sent her. This was the fake text. She was painting me as the nervous, domineering girlfriend who sends spies, and herself as the concerned friend. My hands trembled as I typed back. I explained everything. Emily sent the message without authorization. I was on my way. She left 2 hours earlier. My calls were ignored. I watched the screen. 3 dots appeared, vanished, reappeared. Then the reply. Emily is smarter than unstable, making her scary. That terrified me. Emily's calm. That was her specialty. She calmly wore my underwear. She calmly copied my images. She remained calm despite her flaws. That's what made her so chilling. At a gas station, Maya urged me to record everything. Emily's phony text, the location history, screenshots of her behavior. If this goes to court, we need evidence, she insisted. A legal issue. I hadn't even considered that. But Maya was right. I parked, and while she grabbed coffee, I snapped screenshots. Emily's presence at Ethan's campus this morning. The fake 2 a.m. text. Emily's prior texts calling Ethan. Everything. My photo album became a dossier of her obsession. We reached Ethan's campus as night fell. The sky painted in incredible oranges and pinks, but I barely noticed. My fingers shook again as we parked outside his dorm. Ethan texted. Emily was in the common area, discussing our relationship with Lucas, his roommate. Like my agent. An official, he'd said. I concurred. Sent her. He wasn't doing well. Maya touched my arm. Ready? I wasn't, but we got out. Inside the dorm, the common room was to the left. Emily and Lucas were on a couch, laughing like old friends. Emily looked normal. Makeup, a sweater, hair down. She looked kind. Lucas was smiling at something she said. But the moment she saw me, her friendly grin vanished. Her eyes narrowed. Never before had she looked so evil. Lucas looked confused as she slowly rose. Emily, all steel eyes and delicate lips, seemed unfazed. She was upset I'd come. Thank goodness Sophie arrived, she called out, loud enough for everyone in the common area to look up from their laptops. Do we need an honest Ethan talk? Her words implied group planning. Heads turned. My face burned. No more we. You need to go, I said, my voice shaking but calm. You weren't invited. Emily tilted her head, like I'd said something amusing. I was excited to meet Ethan, she purred. Our discussion of your issues was wonderful. Now he gets it. She looked at Ethan, who was flushed and trying to retreat. He seemed unwell. Lucas was just bewildered. Emily, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. You need to leave. I asked her to leave 6 times. Ethan blurted, joining me. You concerned about Sophie and needed to check. You wouldn't. Anxiety was clear in his loud voice. Lucas nodded. She arrived maybe an hour ago. Seemed normal, so I believed she was your friend. But every time we asked her to go, she changed the subject or said she needed 5 more minutes. Lucas's welcoming smile was gone. Maya stepped forward, showing Lucas her phone. Emily has been following them for months, she explained, swiping through screenshots. She appears wherever their location app leads them. She illegally enters Sophie's room. At 2 a.m., she sent a fake text, pretending to be Sophie. Lucas's body language changed completely. He turned from Emily, looking at her differently. Emily's composure shattered. Her mouth tightened, eyes narrowed. Everyone's hyping this, she shrieked. Ethan should know Sophie criticizes him overseas. She always wishes he went to the school instead of an hour away. She finds you clingy. She turned on Ethan. She asked me here to break up with you out of fear. Her voice grew louder with each phrase. Ethan looked distraught. Get my phone, I said, my voice flat. Check my email. My hands trembled so much it took 3 tries to find the folder. I turned the screen to Ethan. See this? Emily typed this on my laptop. I never wrote it. The unsent email draft, filled with awful things about Ethan, lay there. Unspoken words. Ethan examined my phone. His face transformed from sad to bewildered to enraged in about 10 seconds. He glared at Emily. You authored it? You wrote a bogus breakup email on her computer. His voice was hard, dangerous. Lucas read over his shoulder. Just then, a tall woman with pushed-back brown hair, wearing a staff badge, entered. What's up? She asked, looking serious. It was an RA. A disturbance was reported. My explanation blurred. Maya showed the RA screenshots. Ethan showed her the fake email. Lucas confirmed Emily had refused to leave. The RA listened earnestly. She turned to Emily. Get out of this building. Swiftly. You're not a student and you're not welcome. But I can visit a friend's campus. Emily cried, her voice escalating. It's a public university. I won't leave to discuss. The RA pulled out her radio. Campus security responded immediately. 2 uniformed officers. The RA quickly explained, showing them Maya's phone. One officer invited Emily outside. Emily flushed, screaming, It's ludicrous. Sophie is pushing everyone against me because she can't stand Ethan liking me more. People in the common area started filming. Each of you will regret this. Each of you, she yelled, gesturing at me as the guard walked her to the door. She pulled her arm away, but left. Sophie, you ruined everything. Everything. Her voice boomed as she pushed through the glass doors. We watched from inside as she raced to her car. Her tires shrieked as she sped away. Returning security collected our statements. Ethan's hands trembled as he spoke. Emily expressed care and kindness concerning his schoolwork and housemates, he recounted. She said inappropriate things. University library biology professor workout, since we rarely talk about my routine. Sophie never told her. He snapped his fingers. She must have seen our messages. The security officer wrote faster. Back in Ethan's room, Lucas promised privacy and went to the library. Ethan sat on his bed, head in his hand, shaking. I sat next to him, and he leaned against me. She told me, you were sobbing, talking about breaking up on the sofa, he confessed, his voice muffled. She said you sent her to check on me. She seemed so sincere. When she revealed my schedule, I felt strange. She knew I had Tuesday and Thursday chemistry labs. My science building lunch spot was familiar to her. How could she know? His eyes were damp. My stomach dropped. I checked my phone settings. I need to reset all my passwords. Now. Social networking, email, everything. Ethan helped. Me, going account after account. Then came the bombshell, my email login history. There were 24 Emily IP address logins. My emails had been analyzed for a month. Everything I'd said to Ethan, every call to my sister, every complaint to Maya. And then Ethan found more proof in my cloud storage. Emily had accessed my private photos, the ones just for us. I felt everywhere. My voice was distant. Checking my email login history, there were access points from places I'd never studied or slept. Emily had been reading everything for weeks. When Ethan opened my picture storage, the design confirmed it. Her device had downloaded my private photos. Often, my shaky hands nearly dropped my phone. Ethan took it, examining it. My social media suggested she'd been online, reading my love letters. She knew my entire life. Every discussion, every goal, every private thought shared with trusted people. Lucas knocked, returning from the library. He found us on the bed, surrounded by phones and computers, looking utterly drained. He grew serious as we showed him our findings. He photographed his phone's login and access history. We need to capture everything before Emily hides or destroys evidence, he urged. Maya texted, checking on us. When I told her what we'd found, She immediately said she felt watched, like someone was looking through her possessions when she was away. Now she'd examine her finances. Ethan found an uncreated cloud storage record. His daily and hourly classes were noted. College library shifts, buddies, roommates, gym, dining hall, coffee shop, and even his routine orders. The paper was 2 months old, thrown away after Emily was ejected. A planner. She'd tracked his habits. Lucas read over Ethan's shoulder. This is serious stalking behavior, not just a roommate being weird or jealous. He suggested reporting this level of watching and plotting to university police. It was almost midnight, but I was afraid to wait until morning. What if Emily returned tonight? Lucas suggested sleeping on the university common sofas, for safety in numbers. Maya texted, saying she was sleeping at her girlfriend's house tonight. She didn't feel safe in our apartment. Ethan agreed immediately. We grabbed our phones and laptops, our proof. Lucas led us to where students studied late. The hourly security patrols made the area feel safer. Ethan and I shared a sofa, Maya nearby. Lucas brought drinks and blankets. Sleep was impossible. We just kept reviewing the evidence, scrolling through our phones. Ethan was still so worried after the lingerie incident. He hadn't forced me to choose between him and my living situation, unable to terminate my lease. But he couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. He worried Emily would knock on his door or follow him to class. He regretted not being more direct about his worry, not wanting to appear dramatic. I shouldn't have overreacted and took it more seriously. For hours, we reviewed, disregarded, or rationalized warning signs. Breathing outside my door, constant location checks. Emily forcing herself into every aspect of our relationship, always knowing where we were and what we were doing. Fearing Emily's behavior, Ethan had stopped seeing me as much. Ethan and I watched the sunrise through the windows, Lucas asleep in a chair. Students began to stir, heading to early classes and dining halls. Tired but anxious, I called my older sister, Lily, seeking sane advice from outside this maelstrom. She sounded nervous on the second ring. I rarely called so early. I summarized everything. Emily driving here uninvited, the stalker evidence we found. Lily listened silently. She said this behavior recalled stalker instances she encountered in psychology grad school. She believed stalkers escalate when victims withdraw or restrict. Monitoring and collecting data becomes an obsession without aid. She asked if I'd called the police. I said we were going this morning. Lily said she'd be down in a few hours. She wanted to review everything, decide future actions. Don't go back to the apartment alone, she warned. Wait for me in public. After Ethan woke Maya, we got coffee at a campus cafe, watching pedestrians from a window table. Lucas joined us, and we continued reviewing, taking screenshots and recording. By lunch, Lily arrived tired but focused. She hugged me tightly and joined us. As she pored over Emily's access to my accounts and Ethan's documents, she produced a notebook, creating a timeline with dates and data. Stalking, she explained, tends to escalate. Single events may appear insignificant, but patterns demonstrate obsession. Emily's behavior had indeed become more intrusive and obvious. From remarks and following, to accessing my accounts, and suddenly visiting Ethan's campus. Lily pointed out Emily's thorough surveillance dossier on Ethan, showing premeditation, which courts take seriously. We're contacting campus police this afternoon. Lucas volunteered to testify, describing Emily's refusal to leave and her threats. Officer Thompson, calm and professional, questioned us in a small room at the police department. His demeanor soothed me as I recounted the situation. Lily took notes, missing nothing. Officer Thompson listened carefully, asking about dates and times. Lucas explained Emily's refusal to leave. Ethan expressed his concern, how Emily's behavior had impacted his life. After writing a detailed report, Officer Thompson looked at us. Stalking cases are hard to prosecute, but the evidence we have is strong, especially the digital footprint. showing unauthorized access to your accounts and the surveillance file. The 2-month pattern of behavior could support a restraining order. He advised us to save all texts, emails, and messages, track Emily's appearances, and collect images or videos. He documented all our evidence, promising to work with my campus police, as Emily and I lived in the same jurisdiction. He gave me his direct number, telling me to call immediately if Emily called or showed up. He also suggested I talk to campus housing. Sharing an apartment with someone like this was unsafe. Leaving the police station, I felt a mix of relief and terror. Relief that we'd reported everything. Terror of what would happen next. Lily said I'd done the right thing. Ethan looked exhausted. Maya texted. Emily hadn't returned to our apartment, but some of her belongings had been moved. Lily insisted she'd stay with me for a few days. The drive back felt long, heavy. Maya met us in the parking lot. Inside, the apartment felt strange. Like it was mine, but not safe. Ethan had classes, so he left. I locked my bedroom door, but when I walked into the living room, Maya noticed a picture frame and the TV remote moved. My birthday pullover was gone. Photos of us, once in a box, were missing. Dresser drawers were slightly open. Desk papers mingled. My closet door was ajar. Emily had taken my journal, filled with my private thoughts, my relationship with Ethan. It was like she was gathering proof, trying to insert herself into our lives by owning our possessions. Maya even noticed a scarf and a book she'd given me were gone. We're changing the lock on your bedroom door right now, Lily declared. We went to a hardware store and bought a keyed lock. Lily then set up an automatic backup for all my photos and texts to a cloud account Emily couldn't access, using Lily's own email. Even if Emily returned to my devices, she couldn't get to anything. After changing all my passwords to lengthy, random sequences, Lily wrote them down, put them in her phone, and set up 2-factor authentication. No access without my phone codes. Midnight. Lily was on the living room couch, Maya in her room. I was trying to sleep. Emily started rocking my door frame. She said she wanted to borrow some things, that I needed to stop acting like a victim. The pounding grew louder. I heard her trying the doorknob, again and again. She screamed that this was her apartment, too, that I couldn't lock her out. I grabbed my phone, texting Lily, Emily's outside my door. Within seconds, I heard Lily's voice. Emily. Emily shouted that Lily had no right to be here. As the pounding continued, she kicked the door. I heard Lily on the phone, clearly stating our address, calling the police. Emily must have heard it too. You'll regret this, she screamed. You're turning everyone against me. Maya came out of her room, and Emily shouted at her, calling her a traitor. I closed my door, listening to Emily pace in the corridor for what felt like hours. Finally, loud, authoritative voices. Lily, let the police in. Emily, her voice weak, looked like she was weeping. She told the officer she was worried about me. They asked to talk to us individually. I showed one officer Ethan's campus police report, then my phone. Emily's locations, her fake text, photos of my ransacked room. He nodded slowly, saying he'd seen this tendency in stalking cases. Emily's behavior was escalating. I needed to get a restraining order. He described the process. The other officer returned. They whispered. Emily nodded, apologizing again. As Lily made tea and Maya and I sat in my room with the door closed, Emily was yelling on the phone in the living room. She was saying I was trying to steal her guy, turning everyone against her. Despite our poor sleep, Lily made me an appointment with a campus counselor the next morning. In a soft-lit office, Violet Parker listened without interrupting. She called Emily's actions obsessive attachment and erotomania, explaining how some people fixate on unavailable others. Violet wrote everything in a safety plan, telling me to change my class routes, giving me campus security numbers. She warned me that Emily might intensify her stalking now that police were involved. I started meeting Violet regularly, taking her emergency contact information. Then I met Olivia Grant, a free harassment lawyer at the school's legal aid office. You have a strong case for a civil restraining order, she said. The process would take weeks. First, a temporary order. Then a judge would decide on a permanent one. Olivia explained a restraining order wouldn't force Emily out immediately due to the lease, but it would legally prohibit her from contacting me or coming near me. She warned that many stalkers violate restraining orders, and I'd have to document every single violation. We'd file tomorrow. Emily would receive the temporary order in a few days. That evening, Maya came to my room. She looked tired and scared. I can't live here, Sophie, she said, her voice strained. She was breaking her lease, moving in with her girlfriend off campus. She felt guilty, but she didn't feel safe. I told her I understood, feeling a wave of relief. She shouldn't have to deal with this. She promised to testify for the restraining order. 3 days later, Olivia called. Emily had been served with the temporary restraining order. My stomach dropped. Emily would be furious. The permanent order court date was 2 weeks away. I had to explain everything to a judge. 2 weeks passed in a blur of worry. I left class early one day, walking home. Maya was gone. Her room empty. Emily couldn't get near me, but we shared walls. I locked myself in my room, unable to study. Ethan called, checking on me. He was proud of me. He wished he could be here. 2 weeks felt like forever. The next day, my phone lit up with notifications. Emily had posted 3 times since last night. Vague messages about fake friends and betrayal. How some people can't handle the truth and turn everyone against you instead of addressing their own issues. A quote about loyalty. Everyone who knows us will understand. My hands trembled as I clicked through the comments. People asking if she was okay, offering support. She was already creating her own victim story. I put my phone down, trying to focus on class, but my mind raced. 3 people asked about Emily and me before midday. A biology classmate texted that Emily told her I was jealous and controlling over her friendship with Ethan. How many would believe her without hearing my side? Another acquaintance asked if I was trying to get Emily kicked out for nothing. Someone else heard I'd filed false reports for attention. I felt sick. Emily was lying, and people were believing her. I spent an hour writing responses, providing screenshots and evidence. Some apologized immediately. My close friends rallied around me, which helped, but I still felt alienated, knowing others thought I was crazy. Maya texted that Emily was playing the victim in group chats, convincing people I'd overreacted to harmless jokes. I was frustrated. No matter the evidence, some people would always believe Emily. That night, Ethan called, his voice tight. I had a panic attack in economics class today, he confessed. Someone who looked like Emily passed me from behind. I couldn't breathe. I had to leave. Now, his professor thought he was skimming. His grades were plummeting because he couldn't study. For 2 hours, I reassured him that the restraining order would help. She couldn't come near him legally, but I heard his fear. He checked the parking lot before leaving his dorm, walked different routes to class. He couldn't sleep, always hearing someone outside his door. Emily's harm to him, to us, to our good relationship, it was terrible. We resolved to chat every night to stay strong, but when we hung up, I wept. I didn't know how much stress our relationship could handle. I returned from afternoon class to find my bedroom door open. I'd locked it that morning. My pulse raced. Inside, my room was completely torn apart. Dresser drawers were pulled out, clothes everywhere. My desk papers were scattered. My closet was devoid of hangers. My laptop charger was gone. My grandmother's necklace, 2 rings, and wall photographs of Ethan and me were missing. Emily had broken my lock, invaded my privacy, and stolen my possessions. Her scrolled message on my bed chilled me. You won't get rid of me that easily. I called the police immediately, asking for Officer Thompson. He knew our case. He arrived within 20 minutes. I shook my head, describing what was missing, what the message said. He slowly walked through my room, taking photos, writing detailed notes. He examined my door lock, pointing out scratches around the keyhole. He bagged the note as evidence, explaining this was a clear, serious violation of the temporary restraining order. He was kind, meticulous. I showed him photos of me wearing my grandmother's jewelry, documented the laptop charger's serial number. The procedure took over an hour. While we waited, Officer Thompson could see the front door from the living room. "This violation," he said, "plus the burglary charges, bolster your case for a permanent restraining order." At 6:30 that evening, I heard keys in the lock. Emily. My heart intensified. She walked in with shopping bags, looking astonished when she saw Officer Thompson. He announced himself. "Emily, you are under arrest for violating a restraining order and for burglary." Emily's eyes widened. She backed towards the door, but Officer Thompson swiftly, professionally, asked her to turn around. She lost it. "You ruined my life," she shrieked at me. "You're a selfish, horrible person who can't share anything. Ethan would have chosen her if I hadn't poisoned him." As Officer Thompson handcuffed her and read her rights, Emily screamed, "I'll never forgive you. You destroyed everything. This is all my fault." Other officers searched Emily's room with her permission. They found my laptop charger and some of the photos she'd taken from my wall. They bagged everything as evidence, while Emily kept crying and yelling. The next day, Olivia called. Emily had posted bond. I wanted her to stay in jail, but her parents paid for her release. Olivia said the judge changed the restraining order to prohibit Emily from returning to our apartment and from getting her things without police supervision. This was good. I wouldn't have to see her around the apartment. But Olivia warned that Emily, being out on bail, might retaliate in other ways. I needed to stay alert, document everything. I was relieved Emily couldn't come back, but worried what she might do. People who violate restraining orders often do it again. Emily had shown she didn't care about legal consequences. The next morning, I met with my landlord, Daniel Hayes, a middle-aged man with kind eyes. He listened carefully as I explained everything. Showed him the police reports, restraining order paperwork, photos of my ransacked room. He shook his head. I had no idea it had gotten this bad. Daniel examined the lease. Breaking it early cost 2 months' rent, but he was ready to make an exception, due to the criminal charges and restraining order. Your safety is paramount, and with the criminal history, we can let you out without penalty. He'd remove Emily's name from the lease. He was understanding. "I have a daughter in college," he said. "I'd want someone to help her." He gave me 30 days to find a new place. That afternoon, I called Lily. She immediately offered to help me apartment hunt this weekend. My rent had been split 3 ways. Most apartments near campus were too expensive alone. Lily found a modest studio 15 minutes from campus, available immediately, with solid locks and key card access. She called our parents. Within an hour, my mom called back. They'd cover the rent difference. My safety was more important than money. She sounded afraid and angry, but she just wanted me safe. I thanked her, weeping. I didn't want to beg for money, but I needed to leave that apartment. We put down a deposit that day. I could move in next weekend. Having a plan, a safe place to go, let me breathe again. Olivia met me at the courthouse. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. She explained what to expect. We sat in the hallway waiting. Olivia presented our evidence first, tracing Emily's behavior through photos, texts, police reports, witness statements. Emily wouldn't look at me, her jaw clenched. The judge was an older woman, stern but fair. I testified about the lingerie, coming home to my ransacked room, Emily's fake text. My voice shook, but I answered clearly. Emily's lawyer tried to spin it as misunderstandings. Emily as a concerned friend caught up in drama, her mental instability making her a victim. But the evidence was too powerful. Officer Thompson testified credibly about the break-in and arrest. The judge carefully evaluated everything, asking sharp questions. She leaned back, read the final paperwork, then looked at Emily and me intently. Based on police reports, witness testimony, and border infractions, she stated, the restraining order is permanent. Emily was ordered to stay 500 feet from me, Ethan, our campuses, and any other places we went. Any offense warranted immediate arrest and prosecution. It was like holding my breath underwater for weeks and finally surfacing. Emily watched me coldly as the judge spoke, like she was trying to burn my image into her memory. Olivia gently touched my arm. "Side exit," she murmured, to avoid hallway conflict. We grabbed our paperwork and left. I heard Emily say something harsh, but couldn't make it out. Early Saturday morning, Lily arrived with her truck. Maya and her partner joined us. Ethan drove an hour and a half to help. Leaving the old apartment took all day. I was glad Emily wasn't there, but I could tell she'd been in my room again. A hair clip, a desk photo missing, items rearranged. I gave up trying to track it. We loaded everything into the truck and Lily's car, making 2 trips to my new studio. It was much smaller than I expected. After unloading the last box, setting up my bed, I just breathed on the floor. A tiny fridge, 2-burner cooktop. The door and window locks felt strong. The bathroom was so small I could touch both walls. Key card access to the building. Ethan hugged my shoulders. For the first time in months, I could relax. No worrying about who might enter. My lockable compartment, my control, felt like safety. Maya ordered pizza. We ate on the floor, no furniture yet. The first month in the new apartment was quiet, until Emily broke the restraining order twice. My first Tuesday morning class. Lily offered to help me find cheap thrift store items. As I crossed campus to the science building, Lily was watching me from the bike racks about 40 feet away. I froze. I photographed her on my phone. She saw me, left, but I called campus police. Officer Thompson noted 40 feet was well within 500 feet. He promised to notify Emily's probation officer. 2 weeks later, a fake social media profile sent me a friend request. My laptop photo of Ethan and me was the profile picture. For a 3-day-old unposted account. Just thinking of you both. I screenshotted everything, emailed Officer Thompson, who emailed Emily's lawyer. He warned that further infractions could mean jail time instead of probation. Olivia said judges took restraining order violations seriously, especially patterns. I recorded every violation. Ethan was afraid to visit my new place, so we video chatted 3 or 4 times a week. He thought Emily was watching my apartment, following him. I sympathized, but the distance was too great. We discussed our fears, our needs on calls instead of weekends. After Emily's dorm arrival, he still had trouble sleeping. He'd learned about my therapy, Violet support. We planned trips, things we couldn't focus on before for when it was safer. Distance was difficult, but we were communicating better than when he visited often. Being honest about our worries, instead of pretending everything was fine, brought us closer despite being an hour and a half apart. I saw Violet weekly for stalking trauma treatment. She believed stalkers push boundaries, making victims doubt themselves. I kept blaming myself for not setting boundaries sooner, not taking early warning signals seriously, being too polite, making Emily think we were closer. I was wrong to think a roommate's joke about